Hey everybody, welcome to Chanel's reality. I'm Chanel and this is my reality. Um I wanted to come on here because I know I've done a video on Justin Bieber, but he's like right there. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think he's going to break whatever the case is against Diddy like wide open. Like the people, this is just coming to me right now. The people who want to say, oh no, these people were here for this reason or that reason, or we don't really believe Diddy would have done this, that, and the third. I feel like Justin has he knows where the bodies are buried. That's what I feel. I think Justin will be able to break this case wide open because there's a whole different demographic that listens and loves Justin Bieber. They listen to and they love him. And I think those people, they're all grown because he's what, 30 now or 29 or something like that. They're all grown now. And they're probably have children and have a, family, husband and wife or whatever. And for them to hear his story in the way that he's probably going to tell it. If he doesn't get unalived or unalive himself, which I'm hoping that doesn't happen, I think it's going to shake the case to its core. And I actually hope it does, not because not because I want Justin to be found out or because I just think Diddy needs to be found out. I think Diddy needs to be found out in a way that people who want to still blame Cassie or the victims won't be able to ignore. You know how there were so many people going down Diddy's timeline before, especially when Cassie dropped her lawsuit and before the video was exposed, and he was like, "Oh, I've been waiting for weeks now and watching people disgrace my name and da 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 and try to, intimidate me or destroy my character, yada yada yada." Diddy, you destroyed your own character. I said it, and I ain't changing. It ain't changing over here on Chanel's reality. It is what it is. I just am one of those people that will call a thing a thing. You cannot piss on me and tell me it's raining. We think over here with our both our brains, both sides of our brains. So, but anyways, back to what I was saying with Justin Bieber. I just think that he's the one that probably has photos, not pictures, but photos, audio, and or video footage of what Diddy has done to him at some point. Because I feel like whoever gave Cassie that videotape, because I don't think Cassie was the one that went downstairs and was like, that tape that y'all gave to my boyfriend who beat the crap out of me in the hallway, can y'all make me a copy? I don't get that that's what Cassie would have done, but I do think that Cassie, a good Samaritan that probably wanted to call the police, but was not allowed to by upper management or whoever to report it, probably said, I'll just give her this tape. That's what I think. I think that's how Cassie got the tape because I don't think they got that tape of Diddy from the hotel because the hotel doesn't even exist anymore. But that's just my opinion. So I think Justin probably has something that's very damning like that with Diddy, probably around 16, 17 years old. And after that breaks out, there ain't going to be nobody that can really say, outside of those idiots that are still going to say it, that can really say this didn't happen or people are just doing it for clout. Because how do you then say that's what Justin's doing? He has, I don't even know how many number one hits, however many Instagram followers and money at this point. So why is he doing it? If he actually does it, and I believe if he makes it to his next birthday, if he makes it, and I hope that he does because he has a new baby, and just because I'm rooting for him, if he makes it to his next birthday, and Diddy's people like what Kanye say, don't send them in my head. Anyway, cancel Kanye. I said it, and I ain't changing. If he makes it, then I think he's going to be the one to break it open. So, but anyways, let's go ahead. I found some videos online and I thought that they were pretty interesting. So let me just play a little bit of both of them. One sec. Let me share my screen.
Justin Bieber is probably the last person on earth you feel bad for. The blonde-haired, blue-eyed tween made a few YouTube videos singing in 2007, got swooped up by the major record labels, and they forced his generic pop songs onto us. Then every young girl in the world became obsessed with him, making him millions of dollars and keeping his songs in rotation on the radio. He was an easy person to hate, or just completely disregard. However, in the early 2010s, he started to change. He was lashing out in public, assaulting people, and starting to confirm people's suspicions of him being a snobby, rich brat. And although this video is not going to be me trying to convince you that Justin Bieber is an unproblematic saint, there is another perspective to consider that might make his antics a little understandable. For example, the many times he was blatantly assaulted or harassed in public.
Can I say this? Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
It isn't very difficult to see how uncomfortable Justin is. James Corden is leaning in as close as he possibly can with his hand resting on Justin's back.
Thank you so much. Look at him. Look at what a beautiful face. All right.
Rubbing Justin's face was just disrespectful, but he couldn't resist touching the boy. Bieber awkwardly tries to go along with the joke, but James makes it even worse.
Voted to just do it. Don't mess around. Don't tease me, Bieber.
People couldn't keep their hands off Justin, including Katy Perry, who had to get herself a handful as she mouths to the camera, "Sorry, Selena." At the end of this interaction, Justin says, "We can do that forever if you want," which made some people think that he was okay with this behavior. Even David Letterman put his hands on Justin. During the 2012 interview, David insisted on denouncing Justin's tattoos.
Is that a new tattoo?
This is a new tattoo.
Oh, God, how many do you have?
I have a couple, just a couple.
Well, tell me that's the last one.
It might be.
No, it is. You don't, I mean, honestly.
David decided to treat Justin like his son's troubled friend looking for guidance, even though it was never asked for. Funny thing is, Justin ended up doing exactly what David told him not to do. But Letterman took it too far when he put his hands on Justin.
Well, you know, I got believe.
Hey.
Although this one wasn't explicit in nature, it was still totally uncalled for. David would later apologize for his behavior, but it's odd to see how many people were so willing to put their hands on the boy. Luckily, he was able to prevent Leah Remini from getting her hands on him during this interview on The Talk.
I will squeeze your face.
No, I will. No.
Justin had to shout no 5 times before she would stop, but that's not all. Earlier in the segment, she was forcing him to answer a really strange would you rather question.
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Answer Justin Bieber.
For no reason at all, Leah insisted on pushing this very sexual question while there are little girls and boys directly behind her in the audience. Justin realized he was trapped because no matter what he tried to say, she was trying to force the answer she wanted out of him, but he stood his ground and chose to not give in to her manipulation. This wasn't the first time Justin stood his ground when a host got sexual with him. While doing a radio show called Mojo in the Morning, the host, Shannon Murphy, brought the conversation in a strange direction.
Has your mom given you the sex talk yet? I mean, like, I really don't want to have that conversation with my mother. Yeah, I've kind of had it with my father.
You want to hear? Oh, really? See, my parents never gave me the sex talk.
Okay.
So why don't you give me the sex talk?
I feel uncomfortable right now.
Oh.
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird.
He very clearly stated that he was uncomfortable when the host brought up sex, but the circumstances that built up to this are a bit confusing because earlier in the conversation, this happened.
Justin, what are you going to be doing after the show tonight? I thought I was picking you up.
Now, when I was 15 years old, I probably would have said some dumb stuff like that to an older girl, but apparently Justin couldn't keep his hands to himself.
That little kid is like a walking set of hormones. He is.
Wow, got a little too touchy-feely with you?
He wasn't just like patting my butt, he was grabbing my butt and he kept saying, "Is it inappropriate? Is this inappropriate?"
Oh my God.
And he would grab it harder though. "Is it inappropriate now? Is it inappropriate now?"
That's what they get. You shouldn't have been asking him inappropriate.
Oh my gosh, he's kissing me. Here, come sit here. Come sit with me right here. Dude, Justin Bieber just like comes up and you just started making out with me, you know that?
Is that not appropriate?
Justin was obviously flirting with Shannon in a juvenile way. Then she said live on air how Justin was touching and kissing her. We can imagine there were definitely some instances where Justin felt like he could probably touch whoever and whatever he wanted, since, well, it was often done to him. But regardless, the 26-year-old shouldn't have brought up the sex conversation on the air. Even men were infatuated with young Bieber. L.A. Reid, music executive who signed Justin to his first major record deal, said, "This kid was beautiful, like a woman can be beautiful, and men rarely are. And he turned it on as soon as he stepped into the room." He recalls how Bieber had grown his hair down almost covering his eyes, and says he could see immediately that Justin's hair would be every bit as important as his songs, his voice, his face, or his presence. Justin was simply beautiful, he gushes. His superpower was his face. The context of this article makes it seem like L.A. Reid was attracted to the young Bieber, but we don't really know that for sure. He was definitely right about his star power, but how he came to that conclusion just seems a little odd. However, the most deplorable assault was by Jenny McCarthy at the 40th Annual American Music Awards.
Wow! I feel violated right now.
A shocked Justin Bieber couldn't say anything but the truth. "I feel violated right now." By this point, this was all too common for him. The craziest part is that Jenny straight up admitted to her crimes.
I took the opportunity in the window, considering I'll never get to do it again, and kind of molested him. It'd be like cougar rape.
Jenny clearly enjoys the predatory behavior, as she described it as molestation and R-word. She thinks it's cute and quirky and even bragged about it on Twitter after. Now, if this all happened while the cameras were on, could you imagine what happened while the cameras were off? Just like many child stars, Justin turned to drugs. Every teenager experiments, but he was trying to cope and escape, which led to behavior that left a permanent stain on his reputation. For all the people that hated Justin, he was about to give them a stronger reason. And for all the people with unrealistic expectations, they were about to be crushed. His first controversy began in 2013 when TMZ leaked photos of him holding what appeared to be a blunt. Although Justin faced no charges for the incident, this was our first clue that Bieber was beginning to shed his wholesome image. Things took a turn for the worse later that same year. While on the European leg of his Believe tour, Justin stopped in England just in time for his 19th birthday. Later that day, Bieber tweeted, "Big night ahead," anticipating his birthday celebration. He and his entourage had planned a $8,000 birthday bash, booking tables at the Cirque des Soirs Club in Soho. Unfortunately, the celebration didn't meet expectations after members of Justin's entourage were denied entry into the club because a few of the members of Bieber's party were under the suitable age of 18. Justin tweeted, "Worst birthday," complimented with a message to his Instagram account, voicing his side of the story. "I love how the club wanted to give the press another reason why we didn't stay at their weak-ass club, so they wouldn't look bad for me walking in and right back out." People thought Justin felt entitled to come into another country and break the rules because he is a star. From there, he allegedly showed up 2 hours late for his debut show at the O2 Arena after throwing a massive tantrum. Several backstage sources claim Bieber was in a bad mood after waking up late because of a night out and proceeded to lock himself in his dressing room to play computer games. The crowd reportedly began booing at about 9:30 p.m., almost an hour before Justin ultimately hit the stage. If the week couldn't get any worse, Justin lashed out at a photographer outside his London hotel after the man called him a f***ing little moron.
What'd you say? What'd you say? Lose your belt. Lose your
I'm back, you prick. I'm back, you prick. Right? That's all little. What are you doing?
I just love the irony of this situation. The photographer tries to get a rise out of Justin, then Justin responds with threats, then the photographer gets really mad at Justin for getting mad at him, and the guy also taking a video of the situation gets upset when someone starts filming him. It's ridiculous. He responded on Twitter by saying he had a rough morning and that he let his emotions get the best of him, but this incident started his lifelong beef with the paparazzi. In June of 2013, Justin and his entourage were involved in an altercation with a photographer outside the Hit Factory studio in Miami. The entire exchange was caught on tape.
All right. I'm gonna give you your camera back. I'm gonna take your SIM card, though.
Later that same day, Justin was skateboarding outside the Hit Factory when another photographer began snapping photos of him. Bieber's bodyguards allegedly rushed the photographer, and one started choking him. The photographer claimed that he grabbed his camera and removed the memory cards. It seemed like every few months there was another controversy, just slowly chipping away at his reputation. Like when he peed in a cleaning bucket while partying. Justin and his friends left a nightclub through the restaurant's back entrance before stopping to relieve himself in the kitchen, more specifically in the bucket that is filled with water to clean the floors. This is just another inconsiderate drunk teenager doing what a million others have done before, but Justin should know better. Then while passing through China during the Asia leg of his Believe tour, a picture was posted of him being carried up the stairs, which caused people on the internet to label him as a diva. His controversies were definitely minor in the beginning. He was being heavily criticized, attacked in blogs and by TMZ for the situations that were pretty small, but the controversies just never stopped. The coverage got more detailed, and the reactions just got worse, including the time he caused an entire revolution in Colombia. In November 2013, Justin was undergoing the Latin American section of his Believe tour. While in Bogota, Colombia, Justin snuck out of his hotel to do graffiti in an area where graffiti is banned. He painted a marijuana leaf and the Canadian flag while the police provided him with security. We aren't sure why the police decided to protect him, and the locals were outraged, because 2 years prior, a police officer shot and killed an unarmed 16-year-old kid while he was spraying graffiti in an area similar to the one where Justin did his. Rebellion against law enforcement broke out because if Justin Bieber can spray graffiti, so can they. And if the police protected Justin, they should defend graffiti artists instead of harassing and incarcerating them. 300 artists came together and occupied the area where Justin sprayed his graffiti, and over 24 hours painted more than 700 pieces of graffiti. Justin Bieber was the cause for all of this to happen. The poor dude had no idea what he sparked, said one of the young graffiti artists. The rebellious graffiti trend spread like wildfire to other major cities across Colombia, with hundreds of other artists joining the movement. He also had a spitting problem, with multiple reports over the years of him spitting on people during violent outbursts, including his own fans, who were visiting him outside of his hotel in Toronto where he spat down on them, breaking out into laughter with his buddies. Then he took a photo of his view, which was posted on Instagram sporting a caption about how he has the best fans in the world. In 2014, he spat in his neighbor's face after a heated argument, which started by Justin driving his Ferrari at over 100 miles per hour down the road. When his neighbor confronted him at the front doorstep, Justin told him to get the F out of here before spitting in Jeff's face and saying, "I'm gonna effing kill you." A year later, he had another altercation with the same neighbor, which resulted in Justin throwing 24 eggs at his neighbor's house.
Hey, fuck you, asshole! I got another one for you, actually. Yeah, come right over here, you motherfucker. Call the cops.
Months later, Justin pleaded no contest to 1 count of misdemeanor vandalism for the incident. In exchange for the plea, he was ordered to pay $80,000 in restitution and to stay away from his former neighbor and the neighbor's family for 2 years. By this point, Justin kind of proved he was a privileged boy with an attitude problem, but this last controversy would send him spiraling down. In June of 2014, a video emerged of the 15-year-old Justin telling racist jokes about black people, using the N-word multiple times. As the video went viral, Justin issued an apology, stating, "I thought it was okay to repeat hurtful words and jokes, but I didn't realize at the time that it wasn't funny and that, in fact, my actions were continuing the ignorance." Some people gave him the benefit of the doubt, that he was young and dumb, but then a second video showing a 15-year-old Justin circulated. Similar to the first, he sang his own song, "One Less Lonely Girl," replacing the lyrics with "One Less Lonely" and using the hard R, stating that if he were to kill one, he would be part of the KKK. He apologized again a day later and was released, stating, "Facing my mistakes from years ago has been one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with, but I feel I need to take responsibility for those mistakes and not let them linger. At the end of the day, I just need to step up and own what I did. Once again, I'm sorry for all of those I let down and offended." I don't think I really need to explain why people were absolutely outraged with this. And for a lot of people, once they saw these videos, their mind was made up about Justin Bieber, and they're never going to change their mind. And I can't blame them for that. Justin dragged his reputation to an all-time low. He was stamped as just another child star gone mad. After a drunk driving incident in Miami, he was never the same. Justin was seen at SET nightclub in Miami Beach, Florida. He left the venue driving a yellow Lamborghini before police spotted him in a residential neighborhood. Bieber's entourage allegedly blocked the street so he could drag race singer Khalil, who was driving a red Ferrari. Authorities initially conducted a traffic stop for drag racing, but arrested Justin once they realized he was intoxicated. He was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence, driving with an over 6-month expired license, and resisting arrest without violence. His mugshot depicting him smiling was concerning to fans. Police claimed Bieber told authorities he consumed alcohol, smoked marijuana, and took prescription drugs. He and Khalil were locked up in a jail cell for 10 hours. Justin was later released from these charges on a $2,500 bond. A toxicology report revealed that Bieber had THC and Xanax in his system at the time of his arrest. Following Bieber's arrest on the DUI charge, more than 270,000 people petitioned the White House seeking to have him deported from the United States. Although the number of signatures received was sufficient to require a response under published White House guidelines, the Obama administration didn't take the petition seriously. But it turns out
So listen, he could have listen, if they gonna deport little bitty Justin Bieber, and he has a few things on his, he shouldn't have done, but we all do dumb shit at some point in our life. Whether you're young or old, you're gonna do something eventually dumb and that you regret and you wouldn't want people to write about or report on. That being said, if there was a petition to get rid of Diddy, I'm sorry, to get rid of Justin, we should have one to be able to get rid of Diddy. No? I think we should. Him, Weinstein, Cosby, R. Kelly, all of them. Go. I say find an island that's listen, that's sinking due to climate change, and let's just put them on that island. Put all the sex offenders on that island and let them have at it. Let them have at it. Let them figure out how to survive. It's like an episode of Survivor, but just legit for the rest of their life. Like just leave them on an island that's far enough in the ocean that they can never leave. So it'll be a survival of the fittest. If we're gonna send Justin back to Canada for wilding out, and I really do think Justin hasn't done anything that's not forgivable. Really, honestly, spitting on people that's absolutely disgusting. But you probably just need your ass beat, in my opinion. You do some crazy shit like that. But saying a few things that are controversial, you could be forgiven for that. Look how many people we forgiven for stuff. They about to try to reelect a whole ass sex offender, in my opinion, to the highest office in the land. If that can happen, we can let the Canadian guy stay. I really do think that Justin would not have been doing 99% of the things, at least publicly, that he has been filmed doing if Usher and all the other people, the LA Reeds, the P. Diddy's, what's that one guy, Elton Johns of the world, if they had not probably put their little claws into him, because you see him go from a handsome, talented, very kind of like cheeky, smart alecky, but sassy. What's the right word? There's another word for him. He's very charismatic. And now he looks like a drone. It's sad to me, but that's just my opinion. Let's keep going.
Out behind the scenes, Justin had a much worse drug problem than people realized.
There was a time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything. And it was just an escape for me. I was just young.
Justin's drug abuse got so bad, he was even caught in the most dangerous areas of Los Angeles buying drugs.
Good, homie. MS gang. Nice seeing you, bro. Have a good one. I just saw Bieber. I just seen Bieber. Leave it to Bieber. That's crazy.
His addiction got so bad, he was willing to put his own life at risk. Justin says his substance use was normal in the beginning, but gradually became a problem to escape from the pressure of being this pop star. And although many people look at that as suffering from success, the level of expectation he needs to meet is unattainable. Surely a lot of his controversies were deplorable, but the ones that were minor were treated just as bad. That likely led to him giving up on his health, his body, and lashing out since they were going to criticize him anyways. He couldn't go out on a bad note though. So he made one last push after teaming up with Skrillex to produce a number of different sounds. Where Are You Now? Then What Do You Mean? Which was his first #1 hit single. Sorry, which kind of doubled as his apology to the world for his behavior. Love Yourself. And plenty of other radio hits to help him release his most successful album of all time, Purpose. It's hard for his opposition to feel bad for him when in the end...
I can no longer listen to that song Justin Bieber has that he says, my mama don't like you and she likes everyone. And I clearly can't sing. That's not what I'm saying. I used to think, and I think half the world that knew about Justin Bieber thought, oh, this song is about Selena Gomez. It has to be. And now that I've heard all of the things about Diddy and read like the lawsuits and all that, I really think that song is about Diddy. Him saying, my mama don't like you and she likes everyone. To me, that's Diddy. His mama I feel like they forced that lady. A lot of people be like, blame the parents. Where was his mom? I think you could do that, and it's easy to do that. But I think it's a better idea to blame the savage that probably did whatever to Justin Bieber instead of blaming his mom. Yes, his mom should not have left or allowed him to go, but I have a sneaky feeling that somebody had her sign some sort of contract and probably didn't tell her what was actually going to happen, and probably gave her probably more money that she's ever made in a year in one day. And then she just was kind of like, probably like, okay, either that or she didn't know. But I don't think I don't know the lady. So I'm not, and I wasn't there, but I just don't think that lady knew, okay, my son is going to go over here to the Diddy house, or he's going to get signed with Usher and Scooter Braun, who literally created a record label so they could sign him, and have L.A. Reid call him beautiful like a woman, and all this kind of just weird adult weirdness is what I'm gonna call it. And then you got P. Diddy on film with him talking about he gonna give him a Ferrari when he turns 16. He gonna give him the whip, and he gonna be able to get the house when he 18. Just lies. And you can see Justin is just kind of like this bushy-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-eyed, like legit. He's falling for it. I don't know why he would be, but I guess he's at a house with a superstar at the time. P. Diddy, a very influential, powerful person and wealthy person at the time. So I think he probably begged his mom to death. Like, listen, this is my opportunity. I'm with P. Diddy. Guess where he can connect me to? I think people leave that out and they just decide, well, we're just blaming the parents. And I think I can never say that the mom is responsible for what happened to her son. She might be liable though, meaning she could be a person that could have done something and chose not to, or found out something later. Her son, I feel like her son probably told her. But I guess he probably like, Bow Wow, I'm 16, I make more than your dad. What you gonna tell me about whatever it is going on with my life? But I also think she probably has some of them scary Diddy people come over and say, tell her she's being watched, she's not safe anywhere if she says anything about a lawyer, and yada yada yada. That's what I think probably happened. He terrorized Kim Porter for her whole adult life that she knew him. He terrorized Cassie for her whole adult life, and probably still terrorizing that lady from jail. But anyway, the second part of the video, I wanted to play a little bit of what what's her name? Sloan Bella has to say. That's what I meant to do. I meant to take this off. Where is it going? Anyway, so here we go.
To run up, not in his lifetime, because it's like, well, it will be if he doesn't leave soon. But anyway, in his lifetime, okay, late 20, 30 years from now, actually 2047, I think, Pluto stays in Aquarius. So it's going to stay in his Mars and his Mercury sign. So we have Pluto jumping back after the election out of Capricorn into Aquarius. The focus on his life-changing events is going to be strong and dominant in the way that he communicates. He has a chance as a victim / person who participates to rectify all of that by moving his energy to truth. Pluto does not destroy when you speak truth. When you speak truth, Pluto rises and brings to a level of acceptance where you can move down a different path. So it is in the truth. Now let's go back to that. Okay, let's just literally go back to that. When he has his next birthday, oh man, the repercussions of his actions are going to come out sixfold. Now, my concern for him My concern for him, here is my concern for him. My concern for him is that he doesn't know who his friends are. He doesn't know who his family is. He obviously does, but he doesn't know who are open-ended enemies. I'm really worried about that for him because the open-ended enemies are coming for him. And because he knows and he sees and he tried to say. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Regardless of who does what on this planet, to what degree of evil or what degree of fun, anybody can be forgiven when they speak the truth. Now, let's go back to the initial truth. Justin was a victim as a child, and here's why he was a victim, in my opinion, from the energy I'm feeling. And again, I get a bunch of people connected to this. I know we say Usher, I know we say P. Diddy and any other manager or agent that he's had in his life. However, I go back to the higher ups in the industry. Obviously, we know the Clive Davis, we know all of the music company management companies, but I go to Elton John, I go to Usher, I go to L.A. Reid, I go to P. Diddy, and these are the beginning. These people are targeted. They are targeted because, okay, so how do I want to word this? It's a form of vampiring. I don't even know how to say this without sounding nuts, but it's a form of vampiring, but not the way that vampires have been presented in the public, like Dracula and all those people. It's not that. It's energetic vampiring, and it's not like an energy vampire either. These kids are put into positions when they are vulnerable and young, and they want to create what God has given them, a singing voice, an ability to create something, a presence, a charisma, a way of speaking, a way of helping. They want that energy because they can't do it. So they attach spores through the abuse. That's how I'm going to word it. I call it spores. Think of a dandelion and all the spores going. Think of abuse and think of the spores going into the body and hooking into the different energy centers known as chakras or just energy frequencies or meridians in the body. That is how I'm going to word it. Once they get into you, they can harness that energy. These people are playing on the astral level. My major concern between November and March for Justin is that more and more will come out, and the direction or reflection that reflects back from the mirror to him is so problematic that there could be an increase, and I'm going to say it, drug abuse and overdosing type of circumstances. It will be by accident, and it will be like Aaron Carter, Whitney Houston. Oh, look, they overdosed. But did they overdose, or did somebody spike what it is they're taking, causing an overdose? Just because you smoke a joint, take a pill, does not mean you're expecting to die from that particular thing. So is it laced with something, as is the case of Prince? Is it laced with something? Or is it the case of Michael Jackson, where it's laced with something deliberately and suddenly you're not watching and the person passes away? Is that what's going on? Now we're going blurry. Now we're back. Justin is being rooted for and applauded on the other side because he has the chance to make it right for himself. And I feel he is both participant but victim from the beginning. And that can happen. That can happen. Sometimes you just can't fight it. Sometimes you are bullied and harassed and forced into situations by people that are called mentors. Mentors is the wrong word. Mentor, as I'm saying that, mentor is a horrible word. Somebody says the word mentor, think of a different word, teacher. Mentor means abuser to me. I've heard it so much in the industry when it comes to older men with younger boys, when the boys were on the street, that when I hear it, I go nuts. So go to Elton John when you're talking about Bieber. Go to Elton John. Go all the way down the history, the lineage of the music industry, and ask yourself, who partakes in what and who orchestrates and orders what?
Crunch and Quench, part of the new meal deals only at Taco Cabana.
And what happened? And why are these marriages so arranged? Because they're arranged. Now, Justin carries with him the shames and the sins of the father, whatever that means in the family history. Might not mean much, but just lineage with the Saturn conjuncting the sun, the sins of the father, all the way down. And he has a chance to stop it with his chart. He has a phenomenal chart of power if he allows that power to come through, if he allows it to come through. So my concern for Justin is that he doesn't feel he can ever recover. Now, this is something I learned as a kid. When you take a kid out of high school, and young kid out of high school, 13, 14, and they date an older boy, and that boy is really trying to get them into some sort of sex work, okay? By telling them, you're going to be a model, I'm going to take pictures of you, whatever it is. Put musician in there, put model, put actor, put whatever you want. When they do that and the person does these acts in order to get the career that they want because they don't have their frontal lobes developed, and they get the career that they want, they also carry the fact that they feel they cannot go back to who they were because they have been marked. So they feel marked on an energetic level. And that is where Justin, look at this shit on this video. That is where I'm staying blurred. I hate this when this happens. Oh God. Okay, I'm coming back in. All right, it drives me nuts. I'm in a train of thought and it blurs out. Justin is at this point where he feels as though he cannot come back from what he's done. I want him to know he can. He needs to pray right now, get on his hands and knees and beg for assistance and prayer to bring him out of his thinking, because his thinking is going to lead him down the wrong road. It is between November and his birthday in March, and it's probably the 8-week time frame, so that's 2 months after his birthday. And then I'm kind of hitting a wall with his energy. I feel like he needs our prayers, and I feel like he needs to be elevated, really elevated at this time, super elevated. You don't know the half of it. He's been trying to speak out on it, and he is bullied. He's a bully. If you are a mother of a young entertainer, don't hand them over. You have to know as a female, I'm a female, and I've always known this, you don't give your kid over to strange people because they're famous, and least of all men. And you sure shit don't give custody. We're going back to Steven Tyler and that girl that her parents gave him like, what are you giving a musician custody for? What do you think they want to do to your child?
Exactly.
Better them? No. So when we're looking at Justin Bieber, Usher was given custody of him. Nobody should be going to an Usher show. Nobody should be doing that. Nobody. Stop supporting these people and the liquor companies that support them, because they're all owned by liquor companies. Why liquor companies? Because liquor is accepted in this country as a relaxation thing, and it opens portals in the body. That's the reality of it. So if we have a company supporting somebody like Usher, liquor company, then we're okaying it. So we're getting the people two ways. Stop supporting him. He took custody of Justin Bieber. What kind of person does that? And I'm being serious. I'm a mother. I have kids. I have grandkids. I'm being serious. And then he gave custody. So Usher, who ended up injured from Diddy, allegedly, gave custody of Justin Bieber to Diddy to harm. Nobody who does that should be making a penny off our backs. And Justin needs prayer to raise him up and to speak regardless of what he's done. It can be forgiven because he is a victim of circumstance, parental and otherwise, all the way throughout his life. So this entire planet has been hijacked by good and evil, and he's in the middle of it. But I worry for him. So 2 months after his birthday, March, April, May, that's the time frame. So November to May, it's in that 6-month period. All right, y'all, that is my first video on Justin Bieber. I just need to get it out of my head, so I got it out of my head. And
so I'm gonna stop it here, guys. Like I said, hit the like button if you like the content that you're consuming. I agree. I don't know. I'm not a psychic. I don't know Justin Bieber, Diddy, or Usher, any of them, but I do think that Justin Bieber holds a big key to breaking the case open, because he's the one that I think the younger crowd and even the older crowd will be able to say that's messed up with. Because I personally think we're gonna see something. There will be a visual or some really graphic audio that gives the same type of okay, for the people who don't believe or didn't believe Cassie. After that video was shown on CNN, then it was kind of like, now what? Now what do you have to say about her chasing clout and cheese line and trying to ruin some black man? It had nothing to do with a black man. It has to do with a savage running around with a whole bunch of money and power and influence and not being checked. That's what it has to do with. It don't have to do with hip hop culture or black people or black men or men. It has to do with idiots and all the people and all the gatekeepers that allow this man to continue on. But I think that there's going to be some sort of graphic, either audio or visual, that Diddy and nobody else, none of the other people will be able to get out of. It's possibly what that one guy, Courtney, I think is his name. He's kind of saying, he's been on TV a lot saying that he had like, what did he call them? Like kind of like jump drives from Kim Porter or someone who knew Kim Porter. And he and another attorney are saying something to the effect of like, there are people on those tapes that are all celebrities, and some of them possibly are more bigger celebrities than Diddy. And I'm kind of like, I never looked at Diddy as a celebrity personally. I looked at him just kind of like how she said, a vampire, somebody who isn't really talented. So he made his living just basically being attached to people who do have talent. That's what I think. It might be Justin Bieber on that tape, on one of them. But other than him, I really can't figure out who the person could be that's on the tape that this lawyer lady is saying is more, it's like an A-list star. I'm like, is it Brad Pitt? Like, is it George Clooney? I'm trying to think of another somebody who would be more well known than Diddy. I mean, I guess it could be Donald Trump, but we already know about him. I wonder who that is. But shout out in the comments if you guys, let me know who y'all think it is. I can't figure it out. But they said the person is young, or at least one of them are young and or a minor. But thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. Please hit that like button on your way out. Hit all my buttons, notification buttons, and subscription buttons because it's a free and easy way to, you know what I'm saying, support, Chanel's Reality over here. So again, thanks, guys. Y'all have a beautiful night. Talk to you later. Bye.